Hello everyone, welcome back to Kira Yoga. So this is the first video in the new house, so hopefully the setup looks okay. Might be some tweaks and changes along the way. So Pippa's here and ready, waiting for treats, her payment of course. So we've just got a Yin Yoga class tonight. So when you're ready, coming down onto your back. Breathing here. Nice big deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. You can prop something underneath your knees, like a bolster or a rolled up towel or blanket. You can close down your eyes if it feels comfortable. Maybe bringing your hands onto your lower belly, feeling the breath rise and fall. Breathing here. We're going to practice our Samasvriti breath today. Equal inhale, equal exhale. So when you're ready, exhaling out and inhaling for 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 1, 2, 3. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 1, 2, 3. Just continuing with this breath. Equal inhale, equal exhale. We'll do this for a couple more minutes. Pippa's biffing her treat packet, just trying to tell me something. Breathing here, Samasvriti breath. And as we're here, just noticing how the body is feeling today. Notice if you have any tight or tense spots. Softening down on the exhale, becoming heavy on the mat. Breathing here. Nice deep inhales, long exhales. Softening down on the exhales. Feeling the belly rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. Just taking one more round of the Samasvriti breath. And when you're ready, we'll just come into our tree pose. So lying on our backs, we'll bring our left leg out long, removing any props out the way, and then bringing our right knee bent up and coming out to the side. So if you're standing, this is like your tree pose, or you can think of it as a half butterfly pose. So you can bring the sole of your foot anywhere along your leg and then settling down. If you're noticing there's too much stretch in the hip or in the inner thigh, groin, knee, you can prop something underneath your leg, like a block or a bolster. And the closer you have it to that right hip, the less stretch you're going to have. So if you want just a little bit of stretch, bring it close. More of a stretch, bring it further away towards the knee. If you want the full stretch, removing the prop. Making sure you can be comfortable for a couple of minutes. So this is our Yin class. So we will be here for a couple of minutes. And our Yin poses are like mini meditations. We stay in stillness for a couple of minutes. So we're really focusing on keeping the mind present. Just gently bringing it back if it starts to wander. And we're also challenging ourselves with this little bit of a stretch too in this pose. So maybe it begins to get a little bit uncomfortable after a while. A little bit of discomfort is okay. We can sit with that. But if it's any more than mild discomfort or it's coming into pain, then we want to back off, come out of the pose. You can just lie on your back or come into child's pose. It's up to you. This is your practice. And inhaling the right knee up, bringing the leg long, swapping legs. So the left knee comes out to the side, just doing the same on the other side now. Breathing here in our lying tree pose. Again, moving that prop over. So you might notice that this side is a bit tighter than the other, or maybe the other side was tighter. So you might need to adjust your prop a little bit on this side. It might not be exactly the same. That's totally fine. Breathing here. We're about halfway. You can bring your hands to your belly again in these lying poses. Helps to keep our mind present by focusing on the breath, physically feeling the rise and fall of the belly. So you can close down your eyes if that feels comfortable. Sighing out the mouth as often as you need can really help us soften down, become heavy. Sometimes this softness, this relaxing can take a couple of minutes. Sometimes it can take 5 or 10 minutes, and sometimes it takes almost a whole class until we feel that release. Just noticing how your body is feeling now. And when you're ready, inhaling the left knee up. We'll come into our full butterfly pose now. So if you're near a wall, you can bring your knee closer to that if you've only got the one prop like me. Remembering you can use a rolled up towel or a blanket if you're at home. You can use blocks or a stack of books with some rubber bands around them, or a firm pillow as well. So I'm just adjusting myself so that the wall is taking a little bit of the weight of that knee, and then my bolster is taking that same weight, with the bolster on my left, the wall on my right, so that I don't have the full stretch. That's a little bit much to start with for me. So there's kind of two ways you can come into a yin pose. One is coming all the way to your edge, or what we call 100% of your stretch. That's where you're really verging on too much stretch, almost tipping over into pain. So you're coming to that edge and then you're backing off to 60 or 70%. So you can still feel a stretch there, but it's not too strong, or it's not too little of a stretch. So that's one way. The other way is starting at about 50% or 60%, and you can work your way up. So maybe you start somewhere in the middle, noticing how much stretch you get there. And then depending on your position, maybe in butterfly, you bring your knees out wider, closer to the mat. Your heels come closer to your body and you have less props. That will give you more of a stretch. And then what we also notice is we hold these poses for a couple of minutes. So maybe after 30 seconds or a minute or so, you might start to notice a softening of the stretch. Your body gets used to that amount of sensation and it begins to release. So then, if you like, you can stay where you are, or maybe you come into a deeper stretch again. So Yin is really about finding what works for you. It's going to look different to every single one of us. This stretch might be giving me 80% stretch. If someone else was in the exact position, it might feel like 40% to them. It's really a personal thing. Only you can feel how your body feels, or only you know what feels good. So we're learning to listen to that intuition. Breathing here, exhaling out. Inhaling, bringing the knees back together. Removing the props. And we're going to come into our spinal twist now. So left leg out long. I'll give you two options for this one. So bring the right knee in towards the chest and then across the body towards the mat. You can also bring it up onto a prop if you want less of a stretch. So option one is left leg out long, right knee bent coming across the body, arms out in T shape, looking over to the right. Option two, if this is feeling too much, we're going to slide that left bottom knee up and stack our knees on top of one another. And then coming hands out in T shape or down by the side, looking over to the right. If that's too much for the neck, just stay looking over to the left side. You can also have your right hand on your right hip or anywhere else that feels comfortable. Again, just having as little or as much stretch as you like, aiming for around that 60 or 70%. Once you've arrived, breathing here, we'll be here for another minute or so. Inhaling and exhaling, making sure our breath isn't restricted too much, especially in our spinal twists. Making sure it's still comfortable to breathe. So our breath is our most important part of yoga. It's a really big part. If you've heard of the 8 limbs of yoga, there's a whole part called pranayama, which is our breathing practice. And asana, or our postures, is only another small part. And exhaling, coming out. We'll just swap sides. So bringing the right leg out long, left knee up towards the chest and across the body. Looking over to our left side, arms out in T shape. Right leg is out long, or bringing it underneath the left knee, stacking the knees. Finding what suits you, what feels right, what feels good for your body. Breathing here. Closing down the eyes if it feels okay. Softening down, becoming heavy on the mat. You've got a snoring pipper in the background, if you can hear that. I think these yin classes put her to sleep. Breathing here. Just another 30 seconds or so, noticing how the body is feeling. Noticing how much stretch you're getting now compared to the start of the posture. Maybe you're noticing that softening I was talking about, the lessening of the stretch. Inhaling and exhaling, starting to unravel. We're going to come into our happy baby pose now. So bringing the knees into the chest and then out wide towards the armpits. Soles of the feet are coming to point towards the ceiling, parallel with the ceiling. And then you can grab for the outside of the feet or anywhere along the ankles, shins, or bringing the arms behind the knees. Making sure that your head, neck, and shoulders are supported by the mat. Closing down the eyes. You can take a little movement side to side if you want to start with that. Otherwise, settling down into stillness for another minute or so. Breathing here. Just checking in with those tense or tight spots. Maybe you're feeling this in your lower back or your shoulders or your hips. Breathing through the sensation in the body. Just another couple of breaths. Inhaling and exhaling, lowering down the feet. We're just going to come for a stretch. Bringing the legs out long, arms up over the head. And we're going to finish off this 30-minute yin class with one of my favorite poses called Viparita Karani, legs up the wall pose. So when you're ready, you can either come up onto a bolster or your rolled up blanket or towel, and you can move that close to the wall. Your hips can come up onto that. You don't need to though, you can just come up with your hips on the floor. So shuffling yourself around, Bringing your legs up makes quite a bit of moving. And you can be as close to the wall or as far away from the wall as you like. It might take a little bit of moving to find what works for you. Once you're settled, nice big inhale and slow exhale. You can have your legs out long, feet roughly hip width apart. Maybe you want them closer together or out wide. Or you can even have them in that butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees out wide. And we're just going to breathe here for a couple of minutes. Maybe your hands come onto your belly again, feeling the breath rise and fall. Closing down the eyes if it feels okay. Letting the upper body become heavy on the mat. Breathing here, wherever you are. Just another minute or so. Inhaling and exhaling, and then beginning to unravel. Bringing the legs down, knees together, and just rolling onto your side, removing any props out the way. And we'll set up for rest. Just for a couple of minutes. Making sure that you're comfortable and warm. You can bring your prop underneath your knees, maybe a pillow under your head. Lying down, legs out long, hands down by the side or on the belly. Breathing here. If the mind starts to wander, just bringing it back to the breath, feeling the belly rise and fall, noticing how the body is feeling, softening down on the exhale, feeling heavy on the mat. Slowly starting to deepen the breath. Gently starting to move the fingers and the toes, rolling the wrists and the ankles. Joining me in a full body stretch, bringing the arms up over the head. Thanking yourself for making the time and effort to practice today, for taking this act of self-care. And when you're ready, just coming onto your side, breathing here for a few breaths. And as you're here, just thinking of something you're grateful for today. That might be friends or family, some good news that you've heard about, or maybe just something simple like clean drinking water, food in the fridge, bed to sleep on. And when you're ready, just making your way up to a comfortable seat. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your support, and I hope to see you again soon.